In this video I'm going to demonstrate how we can convert a selection to a layer mask in order to cut away material that we won't want. So in this image I've got an image of a plane here on this layer that I want to cut away all of this information from around it so it looks like it's flying in this gallery. So first of all, I'm going to use the quick selection tool, which is here. Now to use this, you're going to select all of the white around the aeroplane. All right. Now it's very important that you do not touch the aeroplane. All right, because if you touch the aeroplane at all, you'll see how the selection shrinks back within the aeroplane. So select all of the white, but don't go anywhere near the edges of the aeroplane. Just let the selection find its own path. All right. I'm also going to reduce the size of my brush, and I'm going to select this area in here, and here, and here. Now we can refine all these areas that aren't touching. Now, can you see just here, our selection goes, kind of dips into the aeroplane because there's not a huge amount of contrast between the white on the aeroplane and the white of the gallery behind. Sorry, the white of the wall behind. We can quite simply push that selection back to that edge by holding down the Alt key on our keyboard and then painting from inside the aeroplane this time, and we're just going to push out that selection, just push it out of the way. Okay, now because we're going to be creating a layer mask for it, we can tidy all this up later on, but that gives us a good starting point. All right, now to this selection I'm going to add our layer mask. So if I click down here, this is our layer mask in our layers palette. If I click on that, okay. I do this all the time. It's not a massive problem. So it's added a layer mask to the aeroplane rather than the area I want to get rid of around it. But quite simply, all we do is hold down Command I or Control I, depending if it's a Mac or a PC, and it will invert the layer mask. Okay. Okay, so you can see it's done a pretty good job, hasn't it, of cutting out our aeroplane. But you can see there's a couple of halos around the wing, and it's also got there's some areas that we missed a moment ago. So there's a couple of things we can do about this. The first one is we could go into select and mask. And we could use that to attempt to refine the layer mask, or we could do it manually. Now usually I prefer to do it manually, and I just like to get in there with a brush, a nice hard brush in this case, so about 90%, and quite a small brush. Okay, just to take away the edge, those edges that we don't want. Okay, can you see that? Okay, and especially our halos that run along the edge of our wing. Alright, so that's how I would do this. However, select a mask might be everything you need to do to get this looking fine, and it will save you a lot of time. So I'm just going to go back through my histories, and I'm going to open select a mask, and I do that by double clicking on the layer mask. Okay, and it goes straight into layer mask. And first of all, I'm going to shift the edge. So this is the edge of our layer mask, and I'm going to bring that down, and you'll see that layer mask will slowly shrink into the aeroplane. Okay, so can you see the halo's now gone from this wing? But we can see down here we've got some terrible jaggies. All right, these jaggies are areas where it shows the obvious edge of pixels, and it's got terrible jaggies along this part of the fuselage. Now we can smooth that out by using our smooth button. All right, can you see that? Okay, so that's done a fairly good job. Okay, and this might be enough to get the ball over the net as such. So you can see we've got no halos down the back of the plane here. It's a little bit wobbly, but it's not too bad. I'll say the biggest issue we've got is this strut here, and we can use our brush in select and mask to brush that layer mask back in. There we go. Now I would say that's done a fairly good job. I've introduced a halo there, so if I click on the little minus sign and then go in, and I can just get rid of that. I'm using a mouse, so, and you can't use shift and click in this. Whoops. Let's choose a small brush here. I might fine tune this when I've actually opened it. I might fine tune this when we actually open it back up in Photoshop. There we go. Actually, that's not too bad. And then I'm going to click OK. Okay. The nice thing about select and mask is, oh, I could just see a problem up there, is it keeps our old layer mask underneath. So if we've really messed it up, we can just get rid of that, and then we can go through the whole process again with our layer, our original layer there. I'm just going to edit some things in layer mask. I forgot about this other strut. Whoops. So I'm going to use white paint and shift and click this time to put information back into our struts. This one isn't too bad because I did quite a good job of that actually in mask. Forgetting areas like this, so what you can't see here that I can see, let's just move this down, is look, I've got material in the corners here. What I would do is I would actually get rid of that, but by going into the areas that you don't want to trim, okay, there as well, and then reverse my brush and then use shift and click to quite carefully track along the lines to get rid of the areas where we've just overlapped. Okay, and there we have it. We've got a large plane flying through our gallery.